Who do we have with us today?
My name's Mike Pekarsky. I live right over here on John, 1435 John Avenue. I used to live on Gano, but it was like a 100-something-year-old house, and they kind of condemned it on me. And it had been a family house. It had been in my family for like 3 generations. Back in like 1890, my grandparents moved over from Poland and bought the house straight up. I think they paid like $15,000 back then, and that was a lot of money. And generations have lived in that house, and everyone's passed away except for me, and I couldn't maintain the house anymore. It was an old frame. I mean, so you can imagine how a wooden frame is going to do after 100-something years, and 15 years of neglect without anyone to work on it. It's going to pretty much fall apart on you.
Tell us about your background growing up in the city of St. Louis, Mr. Mike. The household you came from, your parents, all of that good stuff.
My household, basically, my uncles raised me. My uncle and my grandparents. My mom and dad were kind of bums, They what do you call it? They had their own lives, and basically they just pretty much dropped me off in my grandparents' house, and my 5 uncles raised me pretty much. My uncle Sebastian, especially, he raised me pretty good. I spent a few years in Catholic high school, Catholic grade school, until they charged an arm and a leg back then, and then I Most Holy Trinity, and then I finished up my grade school years in Clay Hospital, Clay School. You remember the grade school up there? High school, St. John the Baptist Preparatorial. I had a scholarship for 2 years. I was a pretty good vocalist back then, before my vocal cords died out on me. So I got 2 years of high school for the choir, and that kind of ran out too. So I only had like 2 years of high school. And
Did you graduate?
I would have graduated. It's just we couldn't afford the full senior semester. We tried our best.
You never thought about going to a public school? Or that wasn't an option?
Not really. I mean, it was back then. There was a whole bunch of things happening. My uncles were starting to get older and sicker, and my uncle Seb, especially, his body was going. He was working shifts nonstop up at Chrysler to pay the rent, pay the stuff off, and he couldn't keep up with it anymore. And I just kind of, I got 3 years of high school. I should have graduated, but it's not really that big of a deal. And
Where did life take you at that point? Once you left high school, then what happened with your life?
Well, let's see. I guess around 18 or 19, my schizophrenia started to emerge. First, it was bipolar schizophrenia. Around 25, 30 years old, it kind of progressed into full-blown schizophrenia, which actually was a better thing because it made it a lot more easier to treat. It became a stabilized medication where they could keep me on. When that bipolar schizophrenia, that stuff is going up and down, you got to continuously change your medications. Now all I at least have to do is just go get my medications and stay on them. I've spent numbers of years when I was younger in psych wards, and I'm not a violent person, I'm not aggressive, so I was always a person where they treat, get me on my medications, send me on my way. And so I've always been an outdoorsman. I do a few YouTube videos. I'm trying to get monetized. I've got like 300 subscribers, but it takes a long time to get.
Shout out your channel, Mr. Mike. You can plug your channel.
It's MVP Fishing. Yeah, I do outdoor stuff around St. Louis. I do a little bit of my kitty cats too. I've got like 3 cats.
How long have you had your channel?
Just over 2 years, so it's not really. I'm going up. It's just I'm always plugging it. This month's been especially hard. Someone kind of stole my cell phone on my backpack, and I've been running back and forth down. I had a good cell phone, and it had a government unlimited talk, text, data. And when you lose a cell phone, apparently they want to put you on a program where they want to make sure you're not just selling your cell phone. So I have to call back and get. I was going to do it yesterday, but they were closed, so I have to call back and get that data put back on it. And it has unlimited talk, so I just have to keep running back down here to the Wi-Fi. And the security guards are nice enough to me. They give me a nice cup of coffee every once in a while. I talk to them. You know Barry in here? Young lady, she's in there right now. She wears glasses.
Short.
About my height. You're a little taller than me, ain't you? I'm about 5'9". I've lost a couple inches though. I used to be like 5'11".
What are some of the difficulties that you face being out here, Mr. Mike?
To be honest, the biggest difficulty is the money. I mean, I'm always by the end of the month, by the beginning of the month, I'm always broke. I mean, there's $250 for rent, another $70, $80 for utilities, and that's just electric bill. House I live in is an old brick. I mean, it doesn't even have a water supply. I've got a big thing of water in my backpack right now I have to carry back, and you probably talked to Dustin about that. And let's see.
You're Dustin's neighbor.
Yeah, I live right. I'm actually the one that shouted him out to my landlord and said, you know what, he's a pretty nice guy. Well, you worry about the dog and the cats? No, I've been around this dog. He don't bother the cats.
He actually told me that somebody had plugged him in with the new place that he's in, and it's crazy that I'm meeting you, man. I appreciate you doing that for him. He's a decent guy, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He seems to be.
Yes.
Doesn't bother nobody
No.
unless you bother him, and if you don't do that, then people just ain't gonna respect you around here, pretty much. I mean, you at least got to say something when someone messes with you. Don't have to get aggressive or violent. Just if you don't say something when someone messes with you, they're just gonna do it again. Now, even just saying something about it, that gets that adrenaline pumping, gets like that, makes someone think about it next time, and then they probably ain't gonna bug you.
What can you say should be or could be different about how they handle mental illness, how the city handles people with mental illness and situations of that nature? What could you say could be done differently concerning that as far as your issues? And
There should be more facilities where there's an in and out patient basis.
did there used to be?
Yeah, there used to be a number of but COVID shut a number of them down, and a lot of them got the thing like you were saying. They were people moving in there doing drugs, going out, just getting free everything. So a number of them got shut down too. There was one up here by Fairgrounds, they shut it down, and there was one up here by Spanish Lake. Another one got shut down. I think that one got shut down because of COVID though. They never really reopened it. So. A lot of people with mental problems like me, I cannot stand being stuck indoors. I mean, I've spent months down on the river just, being me, just staying away from folks, especially when I was really, really back in the beginning there. But it kind of drives, especially schizophrenic people with any kind of mental problem, it's being stuck indoors. You get out here and they out here away from folks, pretty calming a lot of times, and I think they should have more of these outpatient, inpatient care facilities where you come in, you get your medications, they give you 3 squares, a bed. Like you said, 95% of the people out here that have mental problems that aren't being treated are being treated because they don't have a really good place to go and get treated properly.
What are some of the dangers that you have to look out for being out here and maneuvering?
A lot of folks they do not like you in their space. I mean, even if you're not bothering them, you got to go around, avoid certain blocks, avoid certain areas. I know it because I've lived out here all my life. But if you're in a hurry and you have to go through them, you got to watch your step, really.
How would you say how would you say the area has changed from a young guy growing up till now? What changes have you seen in this area?
Well, really young, back when I was a teenager, everything seemed to be more, I don't know what you would call it, more localized in like one or two little spots. But I think that's just because the city's just grown so much and it's spread out. So, a lot of the old houses have, come down. I'm sorry to say, most people just let them fall down. I couldn't take care of them. I couldn't afford to take care of mine. But a lot of people have the money and facilities and resources, and they could keep their houses. It's a shame how the whole city is just kind of started going down. Just by buildings get torn down. You know how many lots around the city that are just abandoned lots now? They could have done something with. Let's think.
What jobs have you had over your lifetime, Mr. Mike?
I tried working at temp services and everything with the mental problems. I couldn't maintain a proper schedule, and I get stuck indoors, like I said, around a whole bunch of folks. I had a number of times where I got dizzy and fainted, essentially. And I do a lot of little stuff around the neighborhood when people ask me. I usually carry a bigger backpack on me. I know a number of folks that when they need something and their friends or family aren't around, they'll give me a holler because I'll go and get their groceries, bring them back, bring their change back, bring the receipt back. They know I'm honest. So I don't do drugs, I don't drink. I drink my coffee, I smoke my cigarettes, and just take my medications. That's about it.
What's the biggest misconception that you would like to clear up concerning with people who are on the street or choose to be out here on the street? What are some of the misconceptions that you would like to clear up?
That they're bums, that they're panhandling 24/7, that they don't know how to hold a job, don't know how to keep a job, that they're dirty. I mean, you know how many little places around here where you can run right down to the river down here. They got a full body wash for the bikers, hikers and bikers. You just step right in there, you can wash up. I know plenty of people that homeless that just run down there pretty much all year long. That people that they're just panhandling, they're bums. Most people aren't. They need help. They could use a hand every once in a while.
What advice would you give to somebody dealing with mental illness and don't know which way to turn, and they feel hopeless?
First thing is you got to get help from a doctor or medical, just to figure out what's going on. And then it's partially up to you, it's partially up to them. It is a lot of work to stay on your medications. I haven't had a mental problem in like 12 years because I've stayed on my medications. Now, I've come in a few times where I'm saying, my medications need to be increased or decreased, whatsoever, whatever. But you just got to get help, and you got to stay on your meds, and that's most of the battle there. But that's hard. I mean, that is really hard for people to kind of say that I need help. It's hard for people to we have pride. It's, I guess, one of our weaknesses is too much pride.
In closing, Mr. Mike, and I appreciate you taking time out. If you want to plug your YouTube channel again, now's the time to do it. And if there's anything that you want to get off your chest that you haven't said so far, now's the time you can say it.
Well, I guess it's okay. I'm satisfied. I think I've kind of answered your questions pretty good, and the channel's MVP Fishing again, not MVP. It's MVP because those are my initials, Michael Bernard Pekarski.
We appreciate you taking time out with us, Mr. Mike, and good luck with that channel. Thank you.
All right, thank you.